Hello viewers, today we are discussing about the human respiratory system, how it functions, what kind of organs and facets of the organs which actually help in the respiratory system of human. This is the important topic in every exams, whether MTCAT, Neet, MCAT, whatever the exams NCRT, mostly this one is the important one topic. Human respiratory system. Every student who is actually interested in the medical, they have to know about the human respiratory system. Number of questions come from this one. This is the main topic, so therefore let's start. And here is the first one. Human respiratory system is set of organs and tissues. What kind of set of organs? This system carries air from the environment to the lung and back from return from lungs to environment. Air comes from the environment to the lungs and back to lungs from to environment. So human lungs are in a pair. What kind of they are? They are soft, spongy, and highly vascularized organ. Highly vascularized organ means they can easily through to capillaries transport oxygen, blood to the body. Now located inside the chest, everyone knows that about it. So you can say that the lungs are the primary organ of the respiratory system. They are the most important one. Without lungs, the respiratory system is incomplete. However, the external nostril we have, every human know about it: nose, pharynx, larynx, and trachea. All these are the set of the organs in the human respiratory system which help in respiration. Now human respiratory system is, when we do the anatomically, what we will see there is a two air passage. One is upper and lower respiratory air passages. When we see the upper airways, it consists of nose and nasal cavity, pharynx, while what about the lower one? Lower air passages are bronchia, larynx, and pair of the lungs. But in the respiratory system, respiratory system start from nose. Everyone knows that. But in the respiration, again I have told you the air enters into the nose, and this one is called external nostrils because his nose has a nares or nostrils, which we call external nostrils or nares. Nose is the only part of the respiratory system which is external one. All other internally nose consists of nasal, or you can say bony partition which separate it. It is nasal septum. Nasal septum will easily separate both of them. In the nose, we know that hairs of the nasal cavity are available. Why these hairs are present in the nose? They have a very important function. What their function is, that one, they trap the dust particle and decontaminate the gas in the air, or you can say the any kind of germs that can easily stick there. That's why their mucus is seen into the nose. Whenever you can say that whenever these chamber you will see in a deeply that there is nasal forward from internal nails to a cavity, that cavity we called pharynx. Nasal go and end here at pharynx. What about the pharynx? Pharynx is a muscular tube which is 13 centimeter long. This question is mostly seem to ask that what is the length of the pharynx? The length of the pharynx is 13 centimeter. Why it is serve or give the path to the respiratory and digestive system. This is the only part where the digestive and respiratory systems are being both common. So this one is the important one, an important point to have know about every student who is interested in the medical. Mostly the students are reading, but they don't deeply give thoughts about or understand the lines what they are telling them, what they are actually giving the points about the MCQs, what will be asked in it. They have to properly think about it and understand each and every line, so easily they can actually grab the exams of any kind of for a medical test. External air, here again we come on our topic. External air enters from the nasal to the pharynx, we know about it. Then air move from pharynx, where it will to the upper portion, to the first one is nasopharynx, larynx from laryngopharynx. Now here these are the parts where what then happens. You know that when the air enters from the nose, it will went through the also through the mouth. Whenever our nose is blocked, what? Where the air is coming? Air is coming from the mouth. If the air is coming the mouth, then they will face the larynx. Then visco box. You know that whenever we expel the air such a speed, then the vocal cords move and produce some sounds. Now we know that from pharynx the air enters to the trachea. What about the trachea? Trachea is the main part or main pathway to the lungs. It is a fibrocartilaginous ring which is you can say that 10 to 11 centimeter long. This one is an important question. The students should remember or know this point that the trachea is a 10 to 11 centimeter long. So trachea has a 16 to 20 C shape. You have to remember that the trachea has about 16 to 20 C shaped ring, cartilaginous ring. 16 to 20. This is an important question for MCQs, mostly seen or asked whenever the respiratory system is being considered in any kind of question. Provide rigidity and prevent trachea collapse. This is the function why these are in the sheep shape, because they give rigidity and they provide trachea to collapse. They cannot actually collapse like a balloon when the air is expelled. Before entering into the lungs, the trachea bifurcate. Bifurcate you mean separated into two parts. Two into you mean bronchi. Two bronchi, singular right. You can say bronchus is a broader, shorter, and straighter. Right one. You have to consider. Remember in the that right one is a broader, shorter, and straighter than the left one bronchus. This is an important point. You have to consider. Each bronchi branches into a smaller bronchioles, and after bronchiole will terminate into a alveoli. This is the last stage or last part. You can say where the entire air and blood exchanged of gases. Now, when we see the 12 pairs of rib from rib cage, 12 pairs. This is the 12 pairs. Provide protection. What it gives? It gives its function is to provide functions is to provide lungs protection. Okay, and heart. Not only lungs but heart. Thoracic cavity is attached with intercostal muscle, and whenever you will see that rib cage or vertebral column or sternum, you mean chest, all bony. Thorax and abdominal regions are separated, which we say is diaphragm, and pleural membrane in the thorax region. Pleural membrane in the thorax region is called visceral pleura, which actually wrap up around the lungs, each side of lungs, and separate from the thorax wall. Other membrane is peritoneal. Okay, it lies inside, and small spaces of visceral perineal pleuri actually are pleural cavity, which is filled with a serious fluid, which serve as a lubricant and give expansion and contraction, help in expansion and contraction.